One day there was a few people from these two different tribes. They were sitting together in a tent, talking to each other, and they were talking affectionately and enjoying each other's company. And a non-Muslim, he was going past there. The hatred inside him, the jealousy started to ignite, and he thought to himself, I need to do something because this is not right. You know, these people have now reconciled with each other, they become good Muslims and they're sitting together, and he didn't like this. He went to another non-Muslim and he reminded them of the poetry that these two tribes used to recite against each other. And so what he decided to do is, he sent this non-Muslim into this tent where these two tribes were sitting in harmony, and to recite these couplets. And what happened is, this non-Muslim, he went into the tent and started to recite these couplets. And when these couplets started to recite, this poetry started to recite, then all of the old feelings started to come back amongst the tribes. And it got to the extent that the emotions got so hard that they actually came out to the tents and said, come on, let's fight again. To the extent that all of them arrived in the battlefield with their weapons. They all actually arrived in the battlefield with the weapons. And when the Prophet of Allah ﷺ found out about this, he quickly reached the battlefield and he stopped the both tribes and he said, I'm present among you and you're going to fight the war of ignorance. Listening to the advice of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, both the tribes realized that it was a shaitanic trust, but these were whispers of their shaitan and the conspiracy of the non-Muslims. Therefore both of the tribes, they repented, embraced each other, and returned home with the affection under the leadership of the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. We learn a few things from this. Firstly, we learn that whenever a fight is about to break out somewhere, a good and a true Muslim should try and stop that fight. In the same way that the Prophet of Allah ﷺ tried to stop this fight, if we see a fight taking place, we should follow the footsteps and try and stop this fight. But unfortunately what happens is, sometimes we are bystanders and we sit there and watch and we wait because we want the fight to happen, which again is an unfortunate scene. We want people to fall out with each other. We want people to fight with each other. This is not the way of the Prophet of Allah ﷺ. Our job is to stop these fights. Quarreling and fighting not only harm the peace of the society, but it also weakens both groups and makes them face economic and social loss. So when two tribes fight each other, then overall it is weakening them, it is losing their economic benefits, it's losing their social benefits and the strength of it. And so ultimately all that can be achieved by conflict is harm. There's nothing else that can be achieved. And so quarreling and fighting and arguing with each other, these are all shaitanic acts. And it is shaitan who also remains in the endeavor to incite fighting between people somehow. This is the plan of shaitan. He doesn't want you to be happy. He doesn't want you to love each other. He wants you to continuously fight each other.